Hey everyone, how you doing? Nicole here. Uh the time is now, what time is it? It is 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, it's July, and I'm I am wide awake right now. Why am I wide awake right now? Well, I've been up doing a lot of research. I'm doing research for my daughter, for the healing of my daughter. To give you a little bit of background, if I can make it a little bit of background, um, I have, as many of you know, I have 7 children, and the first two of my children, I have daughters. I have twin daughters, and they are now 23. They're 23 years old. They'll be 24 this year in September. And my firstborn of the set of twins, her name is Nicole as well, named her after me, but I just spelled it differently. Her name is Nicole, and she has cerebral palsy. Um, she has cerebral palsy, spastic quadriplegic. That means that she's very spastic in her arms and legs, and she developed scoliosis as a result of two hip surgeries that she had at the age of, I think her first surgery she was 5, and then the next surgery that she had, she may have been 8 when she had that surgery. But um most uh most children that have cerebral palsy were born with it. And I say born with it because uh it's kind of tricky with the whole thing, because there's like a lack of oxygen to the brain. Now, if that happens during the birthing process or afterwards, it could be a lack of oxygen, or it could be too much oxygen. In my daughter's case, we're really not sure if it was a lack of oxygen or if there was too much oxygen, because I had a very, very high risk pregnancy. I was a teenage mother, and well, I don't want to say preteen, but I had just reached the age of teen, and I was pregnant with twins. So being pregnant with, multiple children at one time is automatically classified as high risk. But then me being as young as I was, that was like really high risk. I was basically bedridden. The doctors told us, like, she needs to be in the bed and not even get out the bed unless she has to use the bathroom. That's basically what I was told. But they were born, I think I was about between like 28 to 29 weeks when I went into labor. I didn't know that I was in labor. I thought I had a tummy ache from something that I ate earlier that day. So went into labor. Was in labor all night long. I woke up in the morning to get ready for school, and I just had to stop like every 5 minutes or so to just give myself a break and then prepare for school again. And my sister, she saw me. She was getting ready for school. She saw me and she asked me, she said, well, are you okay? I said, yeah, my stomach just hurts. So on her way out the door, she had told my mom, she said, I think something's wrong with Nicole. She's complaining of her stomach hurting really bad. So my mom, she came in and she said, Nicole, sit down on the couch. So I sat down, and then, another contraction hit and my stomach just went into this peak. And so she said, oh my gosh, you're in labor. and we rushed to the hospital. We arrived at the hospital at approximately 9 a.m. and I gave birth to my firstborn, which is Nicole, 12 minutes later. She was born. So I mean, they didn't have time at that time, because this was in like 1988. Um, they were still doing a lot of the shaving and all of that kind of stuff to get you prepped, but they didn't have time to do any of that. I came in the hospital and went straight to the delivery room, and they were like, okay, push. Okay, wow, I just got here. So so pushed her out, and then um I had to be put to sleep, anesthesia, in order for them to deliver my second daughter, because she was breech. So they had to put me to sleep to actually turn her around and then deliver her. So when I woke up, I looked at my daughters for a brief couple of minutes, and then they had to whisk them off into on a helicopter to the ICU, to the intensive care unit. And so they were preemies. So Nicole was about, she was 2 pounds 11 ounces, and my daughter Janae was 2 pounds 9 ounces when they were born. They were in the hospital in the intensive care unit for about a month and a half, almost 2 months. Now, during that time, my second born twin had the most complications. I mean, they were basically saying she's not going to make it. And Nicole was doing fine. I mean, she was doing just fine. And like I said, my other daughter had the most complications at birth. She had a heart murmur. Her veins had collapsed. She had to have a surgery for the heart murmur. I mean, there was so much going on with her. So, they keep the preemies in the hospital until they gain enough weight in order to be discharged to come home. So they wanted them to be, about 5 pounds before they came home. So Nicole did fine. She had gained her weight, and then she was able to come home. Janae probably came home maybe 2 to 3 weeks later. So during the discharge of my daughters, they did the routine, like checkups and things like that. They did MRIs. And so we had a nurse that would come to, see how they were progressing along, if they were healthy and things like that. And I remember her telling us, me and my mother, that Nicole had 3 spots on her brain, on the base, of her brain. She said, there's nothing to be alarmed about. It's something, we believe it'll go away, but there's nothing to be alarmed about. Okay, fine. Time went on. We noticed, with children and their development, there are things that they'll start doing, noticing, looking at their hands and opening and closing them and things like that. These are things that Janae was doing, but Nicole wasn't. So we felt like, okay, one child develops a little bit slower than the other. She'll eventually start doing it. Well, Nicole never did, but Janae was progressing along. So we figured, okay, we really need to look into what's going on with her, because she's not doing the things that her sister is doing. And I believe that was good, for us to have her sister to compare to, that, one is doing something, the other one is not. Let's see what's going on. So we took them into, it was a program at the time called Early Intervention. They had doctors there and things like that. So when in their testing, what they told us, they said, well, she seems to be cerebral palsy like. We don't want to diagnose her with actual cerebral palsy. You go into the hospital. Hold on one second. I was eating some kind of raw food chips. I don't know what that is, but you make an appointment with the specialist. But what we're looking at is that she's cerebral palsy like. So what we would like to do is make sure that she's getting the proper care and the therapies and through this program until you see what her condition is. So that's what we began to do. I would go to the program with both of my daughters. um, I believe it was twice a week at that time. I mean, remember, this is like 1988, 1989. Well, it was about 89 at that time because they were one. And so those are things that went on. When we got the diagnosis not too long afterwards, that's exactly what it was. She was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy, spastic quadriplegic. So we went about to schedule her therapies. She was an inpatient at a rehabilitation institute for an entire summer, and she was doing pretty good. She was doing very, very well, through her therapies. She had a doctor, and remembering at that time I was very young, and I believed in the authorities. I mean, if you have a doctor that's there and they give you a diagnosis because they are a doctor, then you believe what the doctor is telling you. Now, this is the mind of, a teenager at the time. So, the doctor, she sat down and she told me, your daughter will be never be able to walk. So you just try to do as much for her as you can, but she'll never be able to walk. She won't have the same quality of life as everyone else. That's normal. So just do the best that you can for her. Okay, fine. So that's what I went about to do. Fast forward to today. We're at a point now where my daughter's health, her spirits are very, 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 very high. I mean, she's an amazing human being. I believe that I was blessed with her to have her as my daughter and to have her as an inspiration every single day. I believe the faith that I do have is just based on her, based on looking at her every single day, have high spirits. She has the most beautiful smile in the world. She's smiling. She'll ask me, how am I doing? And things like that. And I'm like, I'm great. I mean, I have to be because I'm your caretaker. But she's awesome. She really is. But her physical health is not as good as it could be with someone in her condition. I was actually inspired to create this video because as I was doing, some research, and I was even looking at some YouTube videos, looking into the community of those that live with cerebral palsy and those that are caretakers of those with cerebral palsy. And I came across a video by her YouTube username is a Lady Ray 86, I believe, 86 or 89. I think it's 86. And she was, she basically had the same story to tell about her son who was born with cerebral palsy. She had him at about 27, 28 weeks. The doctors told her the very same thing. Your child won't be able to walk, they won't be able to do this, or they won't be able to do that. And she had her child in like 2007, and there's a lot more that's out there now, a lot of services and things like that can be tapped into, whereas back in the 80s, like mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s, there was, but not as much, especially with the technology and things that we have these days. So I want to say thank you, Lady Ray, for sharing your story with me, because it actually, well, not just with me, but I came across your story, but with others as well that are living with the challenge of cerebral palsy, and also those that are caretakers and parents of those with cerebral palsy. In my experience with being the caretaker for my daughter, there's there's like a wealth of information and resources that is available that we don't always get the information for. That has been my experience. And I've received information about resources from other parents as opposed to social workers and, those that know about the resources in order to provide families with the information in order to have the things that they need in order to better take care of their child, or whoever it is that's taking care of the person with the physical challenge. And at this time, actually, like I said, I'm up and it's like 4 in the morning and I'm doing this research because my daughter decided, she made a decision for herself that she wants to heal. She believes that she can get up and walk, but she needs the help. She needs the therapies. She needs healers, energy practitioners, prayers, alternative healing, and ways to overcome the physical challenge. Mentally and intellectually, she's all there. I mean, she really is. But it's just that she's physically limited in her body. And she's just made the decision now that she wants to go full-fledged, full force on getting the healing that she knows available to her. And as her mother, as her caretaker, and as her legal guardian, that's my job, my responsibility, and my obligation, and my duty to her to make sure that she can live the best quality of life that she believes she's entitled to. So I am asking if there are people out there, anyone that comes across this video that's watching, if you know of someone, or if you are someone that can lead us to that healing, or lead us to the resource, or are, if you are that resource, then we could definitely use your help. I am calling all of the forces to be with us. Over the years, because my daughter does live with this challenge in her physical body, um, you know, I'm the hair person. I'm the natural beauty person, but for the most part, I mean, I've grown up in an environment of alternative healing, alternative medicine, metaphysics, and everything. I'm a metaphysician, so I know what this physical challenge is for her from a metaphysical standpoint. And so, because I do have that component and that meaning behind what this physical challenge is for her, then like right now, I'm creating a program for her to follow. But I know that I am not the only one that can um, help her and to work this plan for her. There's, I mean, it's like a body. I mean, the body, we have two eyes, we have a nose, we have a mouth, we have ears, we have our hands and members. And even though it's one body, we have different functions in our body. Our heart pumps blood throughout the entire body. The eyes see, the ears hear. We're not a whole set of ears, because if we were, then what part of the body sees? And if we were a bunch of eyes, then what part of the body hears? If we were, a, a whole heart, then what part of the body sees and hears? So it's different members that have certain a function, but it's beneficial to the whole body. So I have a part in the body, in this team, and I am asking for the eyes to come. I'm asking for the ears to come. I'm asking for the heart, to come forth in order to, help and assist with her healing. And I'm also asking for the prayers to come forth in order to help her with her healing. I mean, I believe in the Creator. I believe in my Heavenly Father, Yahweh. This is the name that I use. This is the name that I call. I don't exclude anybody or any of their beliefs or anything like that. But this is, personally for me, that is the Creator to me. So, I believe in the power that heals the body, the power that made the body, the Creator that made the body heals the body. I truly believe that. And, and I know that we do not have to live with these dis-eases or the physical challenges, because it's something that these things are things that they begin psychologically, emotionally and mentally, and then they manifest themselves in our physical bodies as a disease or a challenge. I wholeheartedly believe that. I mean, if we have read a couple of scriptures out of the Bible, then we know that this is what the Savior came, and this is what he did. He just walked around and he healed people, and, he fulfilled what he came to fulfill and moved it out the way. And it's like, in this day and age, we should be looking at that. We, as believers, like, what does that mean to believe or be a believer? And I've come to understand that being a believer is way more than what we think it is. Being a believer has to do with believing in something that defies all logic or even science, something that we have never experienced, something supernatural, that that we, I mean, if once it's done, we can look at it from a scientific standpoint, but for the most part, these things, it's healing and it's miraculous. And but if we continue to practice these things over and over and over again, it's just like I forgot the man's name, but I was just watching a video where I actually saw with my own eyes um a cancer being healed in someone's body, just based off of the energy that was coming forth through about four, or I want to say it was maybe like five people in the room, that were praying over someone. I mean, they actually had it on the screen, like an ultrasound, had it like on the screen, you know, and it was a picture on one side where you can actually see, that cancer or whatever that was there, and then a real time, um, the real time of that same cancer, and it looked the exact same. And once they began to start their prayer um, over this patient, I could see it. You can see it dissolve. And I'm like, whoa, was that like photoshopped, or was it, like, what did you all do? But they did the same thing that the Creator did. They did the same thing that the Savior did. They healed. And isn't that what he said? He said, hey, greater works shall you do, you know? So I believe in that. Even if, and I don't want to say exactly what she will be able to do, or what she won't be able to do. I don't know. All I know is that I believe that my child, she's no longer a child per se, but she's a young woman. But I believe that my daughter has the ability to sit up on her own. I believe that she has the ability to have uh, her spine in the right alignment. I believe that she has the ability to um, use her hands and her arms and her limbs in the same capacity that we do. I also believe that she has the ability to stand up on her own, and she could have the ability to walk. I really do. Um, but it's based on faith. It's based on my faith. It's based on my faith and belief. It's based on her faith and belief. And it's also based on, the faith and belief of those that will come together as a team in order to help and assist in her healing. So, that's it. I'm gonna end this video now because it's just about a half an hour into this video, and I was really trying to make it like under 10 minutes or so, but hey, I had to get out what needed to be said. So until next time, and maybe next time that you see me on video, I will be doing some type of, I don't know. I can't think of it right now because I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy. I need to go get some sleep because I got to wake up in the morning and start my day all over again. So until next time, you all take care, and just send prayers our way. Send prayers our way for her healing, because she has definitely made the decision that she wants to be healed in her physical body. And so I'm putting that out there, and I'm asking you all to send prayers and things like that our way. So until next time, take care, everybody. Peace.